And time now for our weekly segment, Race in America, hosted by none other than Ashlee Banks. Ashlee, what do you got going on today?
Today on Race in America, we'll be traveling to Charleston, South Carolina, where the city is apologizing for its role in the slave trade. The city council voted 7-5 to denounce slavery and released a resolution saying, quote, the institution of slavery did not just involve physical confinement and mistreatment. It also sought to suppress, if not destroy, the cultural, religious, and social values of Africans. To dig deeper, I spoke with Marc Steiner, the president of the Center for Emerging Media and host of the Marc Steiner Show, and I asked him, since 7 members condemned the city's role in the slave trade and 5 members did not, what does that say about the city council? Take a look.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I actually read about the vote and looked at the city council people who voted against the bill, and some of the city council members who voted against it were African-American city council members, because they saw it as a vote that was symbolic, that had some meaning to it, but they said without real policies that change affordable housing, that really do something for the black community, then it's great to have an apology, but it has no substance, which is interesting. Because apparently the mayor was leaning on white city council members to vote for it, saying if you don't vote for this, we're going to see you as you're going to be seen as racists. And so it's actually, the controversy is a tad more complex than I think most media got.
It's interesting you say that, because a lot of people, like myself, who were reading it at the first time, you would think, hey, the people opposing this can't be black people, but they were. And a lot of them were asking for restitution, like you said, affordable housing. They want to see change. So why do you think the city council voted to condemn the city's past actions now? And does it hold any significance?
Well, I think there's a lot going. Look, there's a lot going on in America right now with this. I mean, this happened 2 days after the anniversary, the commemoration of the killing at the church, and so I think that was significant that it was done then. Apparently, it took this group of mostly African Americans and some white folks in Charleston to even get this bill to the council. It took them over a year to get it. It took them a year to get this to the council itself. So it really is, I think, emblematic of the time we're in, where people are now coming to grips with the depth of racism in this country and what it means. And so the symbolic becomes really important because it says we acknowledge what happened. But again, people are saying the symbolic is not enough. And I think that's what you're seeing at play here. You're seeing, I think, political forces divided over this particular issue, because it was African-American council people who also pushed the bill in the first place. And so I hope people begin to talk about this, why this divide took place, and what it means for a white council member to vote against it, as opposed to what it means for a black council member to vote against it, and also the other way, who voted for it. I think that the crux of that is where the depth of the debate should be, I think.
Now, Marc, would you suggest that other cities that were involved when it came to the slave trade or played any role? Would you suggest that they follow suit with what Charleston has done?
Look, I absolutely. Look, I'm here in Baltimore, and a few months back, I produced a conversation about homeless children, and we did it at the Unitarian Church, and we did it in their parish house. And so when I looked up at the ceiling of the parish house, all around the ceiling were all these people's names. Then I realized that all these names were founders of the state of Maryland. Then I realized that all these people were slave owners. That's where they got their wealth. Then I realized that almost every one of those names now have street names named after them in the city. So you don't have to have a monument. It's everywhere you walk. So yes, I mean, everybody has to acknowledge that the old wealth in this country, the old white wealth that is mostly Protestant-based in this country, came out of slavery or had connections to slavery, which is why it was made in the first place. We have to acknowledge that. We have to address it. We have to talk about what that means. And I think that means for cities to apologize, but I think once the apologies are done, then we have to really begin to wrestle with how you ameliorate this, whether you want to call it reparations or whatever you want to call it. We have to address the inequities, and I think that becomes the next step.
And you're right. A lot of people are arguing the same thing you are, Mark. We're going to leave it right there. Thank you so much. That was Marc Steiner, the president of the Center for Emerging Media and host of the Marc Steiner Show. Thank you so much.
Always my pleasure. Thank you.
That's it for Race in America. I'm Ashlee Banks. Follow me on Twitter at AshleeBanks_RT. Back to you.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.